Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. I don't want to make this video too long, but basically, yes, you guys read the title. I got my body done in Mexico, and I just wanted to talk about a few things. I feel like a few things that a lot of people don't talk about, a lot of things that people didn't tell me. I know we all have different pain tolerance. So basically, the first week after my surgery, I was dying. So a lot of times, we see the before and after pictures, but nobody really talks about the in between, what the process is really like. But this time I want to talk about what it was like for me. I'm actually on my 4th week post-op, so I still have about 2 more weeks to, they say you're like okay after the 6th week, but then you don't really fully heal until like 6 months later. So right now I'm on my 4th week, and I just want to talk to you guys really quick about what each week has been like, so that maybe if you girls have been planning on getting surgery, you are prepared and you know what to kind of expect. Like I said, everybody's different, everybody has different pain tolerance, but for me it was just, I don't even know what I was expecting, to be honest. So basically, I'm gonna start with the week before my surgery. So I got there like 3 days before New Year. So my surgery wasn't until January 10th. But I got there before New Year's because before my surgery, I was planning to go to my mom's town. It was Las Fiestas over there. If you guys are Mexican, you know that pretty much almost every town has a time of the year when they have fiestas and everybody goes. You see all your family, your friends, everything. So anyways, for us, they start on the 3rd and they end on the 12th. But since I had my surgery planned, I actually had it planned on the 7th. But my uncle was going to do this really big party in Mexico. It was his 30-year anniversary. And he invited all of us, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go. So I went. I pushed my surgery to the 10th. So I got there before New Year's because I still had to do my blood work. I had a few things to take care of. And I had to see the doctor. I still didn't know the doctor in person. I was referred to him by a friend. I reached out to them via WhatsApp. And basically we did the consultation over the phone. I sent them pictures. He kind of told me what he can do and what he couldn't do. He gave me a price and I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. But I did have to be there before to meet with him. So actually I chose the wrong week to show up because it was like 3 days before New Year's. So they were out of town. Everybody was on vacation. Nobody was like on work mode. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll just do my blood work meanwhile. And then when I come back the day before my surgery, I'll meet with him and literally like decide everything right then and there. So then I did that, but I wasn't able to get all of my exams, all the exams that he requested. I wasn't able to do them because they were all in different locations. So I basically did the main ones. I sent him all the results. He looked at everything and he said, you know what? The rest are just kind of extra. If you want to do them, go ahead. But with everything that I'm seeing so far, you should be good to go. I don't see any risks. You're healthy. All your levels are normal, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, fine. So, it'll save me some money too because the exams over there, they're expensive as well. So yeah, I got there 3 days before New Year's. My mom and my sister were supposed to arrive on New Year's. And from there, we were supposed to go to my mom's town, which was 4 hours away from Guadalajara, where I was at. That's where I was going to go get my surgery. So it turned out that I ended up staying in Guadalajara for a full week. And that's another story, but I ended up staying there for a full week. I didn't leave to my mom's town until the 4th. So I was only there for the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and then on the 8th. And then on the 9th, I ended up going back to Guadalajara because my surgery was the 10th. So the 9th in the morning, I went back to Guadalajara. I had an appointment with my doctor to meet up with him. So I met up with him. He basically saw me. I told him what I wanted. He told me what he could do and what he couldn't do. I was already pretty thin. So what I mainly wanted was more of a waist and more of a butt. I don't want anything crazy from the beginning. I told him I want to look as natural as possible. And I kept like reiterating that to him because I just wanted to make sure I didn't come out looking like crazy big, And it's fine. Everybody has their own liking. But I just personally didn't want to look extra. I wanted to look very natural. So yeah, he told me where he was able to get fat from. So pretty much I'll tell you guys what I told him. I wanted breast implants, I wanted lipo, and whatever fat he could take out of my stomach and my lower back to put it in my butt. We agreed to that. I chose the size of my boobs. So the main thing with my boobs was that one of them was a size, one of them was a size smaller than the other. So I wanted to even them out and make them a little bigger. So I didn't go too big. And then with my stomach, like I said, I wanted more of a waist. I always felt like I was way too squared. It was always hard for me to take pictures because I could never find an angle. Honestly, it got to a point where I started using Facetune to just kind of give myself a little bit of a waist. But I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to look the way I wanted to look in person, not just in pictures. So yeah, I mean, everything was put down on paper. I made my payment and I went home. I had to rest because the next day early in the morning, I think I had to be there at 6:30 or 7:30 in the morning, something like that. But you know how the day before you have to stop eating at a certain hour because you have to show up on an empty stomach. So I stopped eating like at 10 or 11 p.m. I think it was. So we got there at 7:30 and then they took me to the room that I was gonna be in before and after surgery. They started hooking me up to all the machines, and then the guy that was going to give me the anesthesia was gonna come in and explain everything. So we were waiting for him. So maybe like an hour later he finally showed up, and he started explaining how anesthesia works, because he asked me if I had ever been in a surgery before, and I told him no. The only surgery I've ever really had was my wisdom teeth removed, but they put me to sleep with laughing gas, and that was only like an hour max that I was knocked out. This was going to be a major surgery. I was going to be out for about 6 hours. So he was just explaining everything to me. Finally, maybe like right before 10, they finally came in and they said, okay, you know, you're ready to go. And I was really nervous, honestly. Since they were taking a while, I actually took a nap before the surgery. But they walked me into the room, into the surgery room, I don't know what it's called. And they laid me on the bed and they asked me, have you ever been into a room like this before? And I was like, no. And I thought they were going to tell me like, okay, you know, we're going to put you to sleep now. I still had my bata on. I still had like everything on. I thought I was going to take my clothes off at least and like lay naked on the bed. But no, I laid down with my bata and everything. And I thought they were going to tell me like, okay, you know, we're going to get started. We're going to put the anesthesia. Honestly, all I remember is like talking to the doctor. And then next thing you know, I wake up and I was already in my room, done. Like I had boobs, I had my faja, and I had everything. And I was like, whoa, like everything happened so fast. But yeah, I didn't even realize when they put me to sleep. So then after I was in my room, of course, I was waking up. I woke up. I remember I woke up kind of like emotional. I was like tearing. I remember I woke up, but then I fell back asleep. But when I opened my eyes for a little bit, all I remember is like the door opening and my boyfriend walking in with some flowers and a teddy bear. And I don't know if that's what made me emotional, but I remember I just kind of like laid back down or put my head to the side, and then I just started like tearing and I fell asleep again. And then I finally woke up again and I started feeling some of the pain. So the first thing that hurt the most in the beginning were my boobs, because I felt like, even though I didn't get them that big, I felt like I had 2 balls of steel on my chest. And it's really hard because you can't really lay all the way back. So I was kind of like sitting down. And then I didn't really feel anything. Like I didn't feel my lipo. I didn't feel anything with my butt. So then I was like, okay, this is not too bad. But then they're like, no, you know, the anesthesia is still wearing out. You know, you're slowly going to start feeling everything. But we're giving you pain medication. They were like injecting all this stuff in me. So I'm like, okay, I should be fine. So I came out of surgery maybe around like 6 p.m., 6, 7. No, maybe earlier. But it was already close to bedtime. So they brought some like sandwich and all these liquids and a jello. I remember they brought this gelatina. And all I really was craving was the gelatina. They're like, you have to eat slowly because we have to see how you react to the food first. So I'm like, okay, I was hungry, but I wasn't like starving. So I only ate like half of the sandwich. No, actually they brought me half a sandwich the first night. So I only ate that. But I was like, whatever, you know, I wanted like real food, but I knew that I couldn't really eat like fattening real food. The time went by, it was time to go to sleep. My boyfriend ended up staying with me, and throughout the night I was really uncomfortable. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I was okay. I wasn't in like crucial pain, but I was just really uncomfortable. My butt was getting numb. Maybe it was like towards 3 in the morning. That's when I really started. I remember I fell asleep, but then the pain of my chest woke me up, and I couldn't find the button to call the nurse. Like, I don't want to wake up my boyfriend, but I couldn't find the button to click to call the nurse so he can come in and help me. So I did have to wake him up. I woke him up. I told him to help me find it. We found it, we clicked it, and then he came and he told me that I was in pain because I was too far back. So yes, I had to recline the bed through the night because I was just uncomfortable, but I didn't realize that it was going to be really hard for me to get back up. So he came and he helped me position myself again. He put the bed back up and he said, you know, you have to sleep like this. So I was like, not fully sitting down. I was inclined, but just a little bit. It was just so uncomfortable, I remember. So then the next morning we woke up. I think I woke up around 8 or 9. And the nurses were coming in and out, and they were like, okay, the doctor's gonna come right now to check you, to clean you, to see how you're doing. And then if everything looks good, it's time for you to go home. So that's when the doctors came in. He opened me up. He took off my faja and everything to see. And that's when I started feeling my lipo. Oh my God, that hurt. I remember just by him like touching me just very little, I was in so much pain. And I was telling him like, is this normal? He's like, oh yeah, like you're gonna start feeling everything already. Little did I know that that was only the beginning of all that pain. So just any little thing, like I was swollen, so he was like, oh, you're swollen here, you're swollen there. And any little place that he would touch, I was just like in so much pain. I just wanted them to put my faja back on and wrap me up and like just leave me alone. So he cleaned me up, he did that. And he told me to eat again. And he told me that if I didn't throw up or anything, that I was okay to go home. So they brought me food. I walked around a little bit. I mean, I'm not gonna say I felt fine because it was just painful all around, but I felt okay. So finally they're like, okay, you can go home. But I was waiting for somebody to come pick me up because my boyfriend had actually left. He had to go out of town to work. So I was waiting for someone else, the person that was gonna take care of me, to come pick me up. So it was probably like around 12 when they finally showed up. Finally, when we got out of the clinic and we were waiting for the Uber because it was like 2 minutes away still, I stood there and I remember I was like, okay, I need to hold on to somebody because I don't feel good right now. I thought I was just gonna fall over, but then my stomach started feeling upset, and I held on to this girl that came with the person that was gonna take care of me, and the nurse walked me out too. So he was like, do you need to throw up? And I was like, yes. So I like leaned over to this tree and he's like, no hagas mucho esfuerzo, just let it out. And I'm like, how do you throw up without like haciendo esfuerzo? And I'm the type that I don't really throw up, honestly. Like, I can't remember the last time I threw up. I don't drink, I've never been drunk, whatever, you know. So I've never really been sick either, thankfully, to where I have to throw up. So I just know that the feeling is so disgusting, but you have to use like all your, I don't know, I felt like I was using all my muscles to freaking throw up. So when I would like feel it in me and I wanted to throw up, I would just feel like my entire body tense. But any movement I would make, it would hurt so much. So the first few times I was just gagging, nothing was coming out. But then finally I was able to throw something up. And I kid you not, as soon as I threw up, I felt like a brand new person. I wasn't dizzy anymore, I wasn't nauseous anymore. I was just in pain, but I was like, okay, let's go, I could do this. And it was like, that's all I needed to do, just throw up. So yeah, I finally went home. We finally went home, and yeah, I mean, I was there the first day. I ate fine. They made me, I can't remember what the first like real food that I had was, but they made food and I ate and I was fine. So the first night at the house now, I remember I fell asleep, and then throughout the night I was just so uncomfortable. Like, my butt was numb. I just couldn't find a position. I had to sleep facing up, almost sitting down. I couldn't even be sideways or anything. And I'm the type of person that sleeps facing down. Like, before my surgery, there was no way that I could sleep facing up or sideways. I had to be like fully on my stomach, just facing down. Well, not facing down, but like on my stomach and my head to the sides. So I was nervous about that because I'm like, how am I gonna sleep? But I mean, I guess after a while I was just so tired that I got used to it. But I remember I woke up like at 6 in the morning and I wanted to get up so bad. And the person that was taking care of me, she had actually left. And she left me with her mom, and unfortunately her mom has like hearing problems. And not only that, I was like in a room here and her room was like all the way across the house. So I remember yelling at her and she wouldn't hear me. So I don't know how, but I rolled over off the bed and I was able to get on my feet and just walk around. I just wanted to walk around. My whole body felt numb. I wanted to like I wanted my blood to circulate. I don't know, I was just so frustrated, but all I remember was that I wanted to get out of that bed. So the house wasn't that big either, so I was just walking around like the living room, then I would go back into the room, and I was just doing circles back and forth. And it did help me, just because I knew that if I laid back down, I wasn't going to be comfortable. So little by little, I started feeling the lipo more and more. So the next day, I would try to get up on my own and I just couldn't because the pain was just so excruciating. At least for me it was. And I remember I was texting my friend, the one that referred me to that doctor, and I was like, I hate you, like why didn't you tell me it was gonna hurt this much? Blah 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 blah. And she's like, oh my god, like I did tell you. But I was like, no, like you were supposed to exaggerate. Like I knew it was gonna be painful, but I didn't know it was gonna be like this painful. You were supposed to be specific. And I was just like mad at her. And then she's like, oh my god, like you're gonna be fine, don't worry. Once you get over the pain, you're gonna wanna go do it again. And I was like, hell no, like I'm never doing this again. This is the first and last time. I was even telling my boyfriend, like never ever let me do another surgery, this and that. Like I was just so frustrated. But yeah, pretty much the rest of the week it was the same. I was just in so much pain, I could hardly move. One of the things that I did notice was that I would lose my breath so fast. I think since the faja is so tight, I would like get up and I would be like and then I was able to like walk around and stuff. I would also have to get up slowly, obviously, but even by just talking, by walking, by anything, I would have to literally take a break and catch my breath. So it was really bad the first week. Then the next week it started getting better and better. But even now, I told you guys I'm on my 4th week, and even like going up some stairs, I have to like stop at the top and I have to be like catch my breath and then I can keep going. So that's one of the things that, I mean, I'm guessing it has to do with the faja. And then since you're in bed so much, you're literally resting for so long, you're not really exercising. I don't know. But basically, I was losing my breath all the time. And I still am here and there. It's getting better. Oh yeah, and then during the first week also, I think I didn't shower until 3 days after my surgery. And I didn't shower myself. I had to have the person taking care of me shower me because at that time I couldn't pick up my arms because of my boobs. So she literally sat me in this little bench and she showered me. But it felt so good. It was like so relaxing. It was just, I don't know. I just felt like a whole new person. And then that first week I also had to start getting my massages. So those massages, oh my god, they were so painful. I'm telling you, just by the doctor touching me, I was already like almost crying. So the massages, they start off gentle. They start with this like ultrasound machine and then they just start like going over your stomach. I remember I just wanted to cry. It was so painful. Like I just didn't want them touching me anymore. And I just had to suck it up. I was like, oh my god, I thought the worst part was the surgery, but they're like, no, the bad part is the recovery. And I was like, oh, I wish I was like mentally prepared for this. So then I got massages 5 days in a row. So that was the first day. The second day I went in and I had drains coming out of my boobs, just like draining everything that was left inside. And the second day, that's when they were gonna remove them. Not the second day from my surgery, the second day I went in to get massages. So it was like the 5th day from my surgery. I do remember my friend telling me that that procedure hurt. It's not even a procedure, but that step, that process of them removing them, it hurt. So I was like prepared for that, but still, you know, I knew that it was gonna be painful. And I'm the type, like, I feel like I can tolerate pain, but when I know the pain is coming, I get so like nervous, I get freaked out. I just want it to happen already. But at the same time, I don't want it to happen. So the nurse was like, okay, I'm gonna pull. You're gonna feel like me just pulling. Just take a deep breath, hold it. I'm gonna pull, and then once I pull it out, release it. So I'm like, okay, here we go. So I took a deep breath, and then I told you guys that I got one size bigger than the other. So she started with the bigger side, which was, I feel like it was tighter. So when she pulled, oh my god, I remember like my whole body hurt. And I remember I released my breath and I just started crying. I was like, oh my God, hold on. So this whole time I hadn't like cried for any pain until this very moment. So I was like, oh my God, wait, like don't even try to come to the other side yet. But then I was like, you know what, like let's just get it over with. Like I'd rather just feel the pain for both right now and get it over with. So she came to the other side and she's like, okay, take a deep breath. I'm gonna pull and then release it. So I was like, I took my deep breath and she pulled it and I didn't even feel that one. The second one, I didn't even feel like when it came out. Like, yeah, usually one hurts more than the other. And I was like, oh my God, it was like so painful. But then I was like, okay, I'm glad that's done. So I wasn't carrying those strains anymore. And then again, we went on with a massage. And yeah, I got massages for 5 days straight. And then I honestly wasn't comfortable at the place where I was staying, where the person was taking care of me. So my boyfriend said, well, come with me to Mexico City. So I asked my doctor, is it okay if I travel? It's been from the day of my flight, it's gonna be a week and like 3 days. He's like, just be really careful, only because it's a short flight. Don't carry your luggage. Don't, like, no te esfuerces. Don't put any weight on your arms, on your chest, on anything. And obviously walk slowly. You still can't really walk that fast and stuff. So he's like, if it's really something that you want to do, it's fine. Just be like super careful. So, I mean, all I wanted was for him to give me the green light. So, of course, I was excited. I ended up leaving with him. But throughout the airport, it wasn't that bad. His dad actually helped me carry like my bigger luggage all the way up until I checked it in. And then I just had to carry my carry-on on top. But for that, it wasn't that bad. It's just I was walking one time and I dropped my passport. So I couldn't really bend over. So I held on to my carry-on, the handle of my carry-on. I leaned down and I think to like get myself back up, I try to put my weight on the luggage and I just remember feeling like my boob, something happened to it. Like I felt like something stretched. I felt like my stitches opened. Like, I don't know, it just hurt. So I was like, oh my God. And then I went and I checked. Everything was fine, but I know that from the inside, I probably hurt something because I started like spotting a little bit of blood. So I was like, oh my God, the first thing the doctor told me not to like do any force on my arms. Okay, sorry guys, I had to step away really quick to take off this waist cinger that I'm wearing, or that I was wearing under my faja, because my body is just not ready for that yet. It was like super tight and it was really hurting me. So yeah, I got on the plane and everything was fine. When I got on the plane, I did have my carry-on, so I asked the person in front of me if they could help me put it on top because obviously I couldn't carry it. And then same thing when I got off, I was like, hey, do you mind bringing it down for me? I finally got to Mexico City and this is already the second week. So I got my surgery on January 10th and I went to Mexico City on January 20th. So this is the second week, and that first day week that I got there, we didn't really do much. We just went straight home. We rested. I was tired. I took a nap. And then he went to the gym. I started unpacking because we had this little closet that I was like, I don't want to be digging into my maleta all the time. We were going to be there for about a week. So I started unpacking everything. I hung my clothes. I put his clothes away. And I was just trying to find things to do. Obviously, I was being careful the whole time. But this is like the most active I had been since my surgery. So then the next day, I had really been wanting to go to La Basilica de Guadalupe in Mexico City. Some of you guys know what it is. Some of you guys are familiar with it. So the next day, I told him, let's go. So we went. That was like the first time that I did a lot of walking. So we were walking around slowly again, you know, because I would have to stop and catch my breath. But I also climbed a lot of stairs. And they say, you know, you have to be careful, this and that. But honestly, I felt fine. Obviously, I was being careful. I wasn't like climbing all the stairs at once. I would climb a few steps at a time, see how I felt, take my breaks, take a breather, you know, and just keep going. But what I felt for myself is that walking around and doing some kind of exercise helped me, because I feel like when you're just laying there or sitting there in bed, your body starts to tense up. You know, you need to get your blood circulating. You need to just move. So I feel like that's what helped me heal a little faster. I don't recommend it for everybody. Always ask your doctor. I don't know what, you know, everybody's body's different. But for me, that's what helped me, because I just started getting active and just doing things. The day after that, I don't remember what we did the day after that. But then that Thursday we went to this play where one of his friends was gonna act. And I remember sitting there, and after like the second hour, because these plays last like almost 3 hours, getting close to the second hour, I started feeling like really uncomfortable. Like I just couldn't find a position to sit in anymore. Like it wasn't like I wasn't miserable, but I was just uncomfortable. I kept like leaning forward, leaning back, trying to like lean on him, like opening my legs, closing my legs, like crossing my legs and crossing my legs. So I don't know, I just started getting really uncomfortable. So once it was over, I was like glad it was over, because again, I was able to walk around. And then we left, we went home. And then the day after that, was that Friday? Friday we didn't do anything actually. Saturday, I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember what we did Saturday, Sunday. Oh, Sunday we went to this ranch because he had a photo shoot. And I was like so excited because I love horses. I love riding horses. But at the same time, I was like upset because I couldn't. Like I had just been in surgery 2 weeks ago and I couldn't be on a horse yet. The doctor told me to wait at least 6 weeks. So I was just like upset because I knew that once I was there, I was gonna want to get on, and I was like this close to getting on, but they didn't let me. Actually, it was this gay couple that they were actually really cool. The boyfriend of the photographer, he actually is a cosmetic doctor, and he's like, no, like you just can't, you know, you really need to be careful. These first weeks are really crucial, you know, let your body heal, and it's still gonna take a while for your body to heal. You know, don't rush anything. So I was like, fine, just because you're a doctor, I'm gonna listen to you. So I didn't get on. So I was just there. We were there for like 8 hours from the time we got there to the time they took us home. But I mean, I was just admiring all the animals. They had so many animals. They had horses. They had like 8 dogs plus 3 babies that were just born. They had 3 cats. They had chickens. They had ducks. They had sheep. They had pigs. They had like everything. I was just there like entertaining myself with the animals. And that was actually the day that Kobe Bryant unfortunately passed away. So I remember when we were in the Uber on the way to the ranch, my sister sent me the news, and it was just that moment where I think a lot of us felt where we're like, no, like this can't be real, you know. So I started like researching, and then more like news and other websites were like confirming it, but I still like didn't want to believe it. So my mood kind of like changed when we got to the ranch. You know, I was trying to enjoy the moment, but at the same time it started getting cold, so I went inside the house and I was just on my phone the whole time, like watching the news and like still waiting for that moment for somebody to say, you know what, like it's actually not true. And then I remember we were on one of the areas in the ranch where they were doing the photo shoot, and I was like watching them. And then I see the news where his daughter was also involved, and I was like, oh my God. So it was like that knot that you have in your throat where you just want to cry but you can't, and like you're still in shock. So that's how I felt for like half of the photo shoot, until finally I went inside. And I think it was because I was around people, I didn't really want to let my emotions out. But finally we went inside, and then they were going to go back out to that same place to do more pictures. But to get up there, like there was some stairs that were actually really scary. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that again. Like I don't know if I want to go up those stairs again. And then the guy's boyfriend was like, no, if you want, just wait in here. He actually asked me, he's like, do you want to wait in here? And I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll wait in here. So I was just on my phone watching, and I finally like just teared. And I remember really not feeling anything, like any pain with my body. You know, my mind was just somewhere else. I was just so distracted with this, and I felt numb, but because of the news, it was just like really sad. I remember it was like a really hard day, I think, for a lot of us here in LA. So anyways, that was that. We finally ended up leaving, and then the next day we actually flew back to Guadalajara. This time it wasn't that bad because my boyfriend actually came with me and he helped with all the luggage and everything. So then we spent the rest of the week in Guadalajara. So this was already the 3rd week. The 3rd week, I mean, it started getting better all around. I felt pain. I still had to be careful, but I was already really active. I was walking around, you know. I was even cleaning the house. The one thing I couldn't do was do the bed still, because, you know, when you do the bed, you kind of like have to lift up the sheets and stuff. I still couldn't do that. But I kind of started I started sweeping just very slowly, but I started sweeping. I started mopping. I'm not gonna lie. I mopped once because that actually kind of hurt. I couldn't really like mop as good as I usually try to do it. I was able to change by myself. I was able to shower by myself. My boyfriend would help me put on the faja every time, though I still couldn't do that by myself. Even now, honestly, I still struggle to do that. The first day I got back, my sister stayed with me to help me, and I asked her if she could stay all week, but she didn't want to, so I had to figure it out on my own. But yeah, going back to the third week, pain-wise, I just remember it started to like slowly not go away because I still feel pain now, but it was just as the days passed by, I was able to tolerate it more. It wasn't like for every little thing I was like complaining about something. I did feel stuff, but it wasn't stopping me from doing anything at that point. And then finally it was time to come back home after 5 long weeks in Mexico. It was time to come back home, and you know, I wasn't excited. I wasn't excited because I just got so used to being over there. I love being in Mexico in the first place, so I just wasn't too happy to come home. And then I knew I was going to be by myself here, so I wasn't looking forward to that. But it was finally time to come home. We came back on a Sunday, so we're on the 4th week now. Came back the next day, I unpacked. I was able to do everything by myself. Like I said, my sister stayed with me that first night. But other than that, other than just putting on my faja, she didn't really help me with anything else. Like, I'm able to do everything by myself. And then going back to the pain, now it's more like, because I started giving myself the massages, so now it's more like when I really press on my stomach and I'm really like trying to jam my fingers in there to, you know, prevent any fibrosis or anything like that, that's when I really feel the pain. But other than that, I'm able to walk around. The faja kind of like hurts me here and there at night. I still have to sleep facing up. I started kind of going sideways now, but I try to be facing up. I do wake up like randomly. Last night actually at 5 in the morning I woke up because I was so uncomfortable. I was so itchy, like, and it sucks because there's a point, that's another thing I forgot to mention, within the first and second week of your surgery, that the skin is like starting to heal from the inside and it's like attaching back to your muscle and all that. You get so itchy, and that's another thing that had me so frustrated because you're wearing the faja and I was wearing like this foam thing under, so as much as you want to scratch, like, you can't because you're not touching your skin directly. So I remember I would just rub and I would like toss and turn and try to like move myself into positions to where I would be more comfortable, but it was just so frustrating because I was just so itchy. I was itchy all around, and here and there I still get itchy. Like last night, that's what woke me up. I was just itchy, but it's easier now because I don't have the foam thing anymore. So I could kind of just put down the zipper in my faja and scratch myself a little bit. Even though I'm trying not to scratch, I kind of just rub. But there's times when it gets like really frustrating. So yeah, I mean, that was the 4th week. I'm on my 5th week now. So I just wanted to do this video. I wanted to wait until the 6th week, but I already forgot so many things that I'm like, no, I'm just going to forget even more. So I'll just record up until the 4th week. And then if you guys want to keep up with my progress, if you guys want me to do another video in the near future, you know, just to follow up to see how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how everything's going, how I'm looking. I'm not really going to show you guys how I look right now because I'm still swollen. They told me that you don't really see your results until like weeks later, and then you don't really fully heal until about 6 months. So my body's still like changing. I look different than what I looked like last week, and then I look even more different than what I looked like in the beginning. So if I'm able to, I'll post some pictures here so you guys can see my waist. But I mean, I can't really post everything because I'm like naked on all of them. I have been taking pictures for myself just so I can kind of see the progress, but there's only so much I can show you guys. I'm sorry if I was all over the place. I didn't write anything down. I just kind of spoke out of my head, like everything as I remembered it. So if you guys are confused about something, let me know. I'll clear it up. But again, just let me know if you guys want to know more, if you want to see more in the future. If you guys have questions, just leave everything down below. Also, my Instagram is going to be listed on there. That's usually where I'm the most active. You guys can always message me directly from there, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. I just wanted to be open about this. It's not going to be a secret. If anybody ever asks if I got surgery, I'm going to say yes because there's no reason to deny it. And then also, my boyfriend and I started a YouTube channel together. We haven't posted anything yet, but that is the plan. We're trying to grow it right now. Unfortunately, we are apart. He's in Mexico working. I'm here in LA. But we do plan to record our first video the next time we see each other. So I'm going to link that down below as well. And we appreciate the support. and I'll see you guys next time.